Liberty Nation with Tim Donner.
Say what? Say what? Say what? One more time.
We commence the proceedings with our signature segment, Say What?, where we roll out a virtual assembly line of wacky, astonishing, damnable, and ultimately revealing things uttered by politicians and the chattering class. Is it President-elect Joe Biden yet? It is not until the members of the Electoral College say so by casting their votes more than 1 month from now on December 14th, with the votes actually counted on January 5th, 2 weeks before the presidential inauguration on January 20th. And even though all of major media has called the election that actually doesn't have any legal standing as the Trump campaign ramps up its legal action in multiple states, foremost among them Pennsylvania. If he can't somehow reverse the current Biden lead of near 50,000 votes in the Keystone State, Trump will have no chance to flip the election. And to do so, he'll likely have to get the Supreme Court to throw out all mail-in ballots received there after November 3rd, which would have happened before the election, but for Chief Justice John Roberts siding with the progressives on the Supreme Court and letting a law stand that was not passed by the Pennsylvania legislature, but rather commanded by the liberal governor and majority Democrat Pennsylvania Supreme Court. Now, for his part, Joe Biden says Trump is only hurting himself with his insistence on challenging the outcome.
I just think it's an embarrassment, quite frankly. The only thing that, how can I say this tactfully? I think it will not help the president's legacy. I think that I know from my discussions with foreign leaders thus far that they are hopeful that the United States democratic institutions are viewed once again as being strong and enduring. But I think at the end of the day, it's all going to come to fruition on January 20th. And between now and then, my hope and expectation is that the American people do know and do understand that there has been a transition.
Well, I'll tell you this, as we heard right there, if you feel exhausted by the Trump presidency, you'll get a nice long rest and may even have trouble staying awake if Joe Biden does indeed become president. The operative word would be somnambulistic. But while at least half the nation is celebrating the apparent defeat of President Trump, the vanquishing of pure evil in the eyes of Democrats and progressives, many or most in the other half continue in their outrage and defiance, triggered by more and more reports of widespread irregularities in battleground states and entire blocks of tens of thousands of votes going 100% for Biden and the like. And listen to how Secretary of State Mike Pompeo answered a transition to a Biden administration question and was later buttonholed by Brett Baer of Fox News.
Is the State Department currently preparing to engage with the Biden transition team? And if not, at what point does a delay hamper a smooth transition or pose a risk to national security?
There will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration.
You were asked today about the concerns about a smooth transition, and you said it will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration. Were you being serious there?
We'll have a smooth transition, and we'll see what the people ultimately decided when all the votes have been cast. We have a process, Brett. The Constitution lays out how electors vote. It's a very detailed process laid out. We need to comply with all of that, and then I am very confident that we will have a good transition, that we will make sure that whoever is in office on noon on January 20th has all the tools readily available so that we don't skip a beat.
Pompeo's appearance there was, of course, on Fox News, which is really feeling the heat from its conservative viewers after calling Arizona for Biden extraordinarily early on election night and then calling a 5-seat gain for Democrats in the House, when in the end they'll likely lose more than 5 seats. All of that after Fox's Chris Wallace seemed to target Trump as moderator in the first debate. And it got even worse this week when afternoon host Neil Cavuto decided to summarily cut off a briefing from White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany.
We want maximum transparency. We want every legal vote to be counted, and we want every illegal vote to be...
I just think we have to be very clear. She's charging, the other side is welcoming fraud and welcoming illegal voting. Unless she has more details to back that up, I can't in good countenance continue showing you this. I want to make sure that maybe they do have something to back that up, but that's an explosive charge to make, that the other side is effectively rigging and cheating. If she does bring proof of that, of course, we'll take you back. So far, she has started saying right at the outset, welcoming fraud, welcoming illegal voting. Not so fast.
That action, that attitude is exactly why viewers are leaving Fox in droves. But I'll tell you this, if Fox thinks it can replace all the viewers abandoning them, good luck with that. Whatever happened to we report, you decide? Well, a political commentator named Steve Cortez, for one, has done some serious reporting on statistical anomalies or virtual impossibilities in the voting in battleground states, starting with the issue of turnout.
Turnout was exceedingly high, and in the places that Joe Biden needed it. Again, that defies logic. In Wisconsin, for example, statewide turnout was over 90%. To put that in context, the country of Australia, voting is mandatory. You get fined if you don't vote, and their turnout is only 92%. Turnout in Milwaukee was a stunning 84%. It's pretty hard to believe if you put it in comparison with another Midwestern city, similar demographics, similar size, Cleveland. Turnout was only 51%. Are we really to believe that Milwaukee naturally had turnout that much higher than Cleveland?
And Cortez points to vote-rich Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, just outside of Philadelphia, and the staggering vote for Biden there.
In 2012, Obama got 233,000 votes in Montgomery County. But look at what happened this year for Biden. He got 313,000 votes in Montgomery County. He more than doubled Obama's margin of victory in Montgomery County. Is it really possible that this lazy and doddering candidate, Joe Biden, was able to so massively outperform a politician with rock star appeal like Barack Obama?
Then there is the matter of so many ballots with votes only for president.
Let's look nationally. 450,000 Biden-only tickets. That is ballots. That is very, very suspicious. Let's look at the state of Georgia. The difference, president versus Senate. There are two Senate races going on in Georgia, so a lot of interest there. Trump, this is the differential. Trump versus the combined Republican Senate vote. The differential was only 818 votes. Absolutely minimal considering he got 2.4 million votes in total in Georgia. In other words, almost everyone who voted for Trump also voted down ticket, voted for the senators. Biden, though, a 95,000 vote differential. There were almost 96,000 people in Georgia, allegedly, who voted Biden only and then did not vote for Senate. That seems far too wide to be believable.
And finally, there's the matter of so incredibly few rejected mail-in ballots in Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania, the rejection rate of mailed-in ballots was only 0.03%. Okay, now that is 1/30th of the normal rate in the state of Pennsylvania. And mind you, for first-time voters, the typical failure rate is 3%. So 100 times higher than the rejection rate in Pennsylvania. New York, right next door. When they went to large-scale mail-in voting for their primary, they had a rejection rate of 21%. That is 700 times higher than what we saw in Pennsylvania.
Add those figures, those virtual statistical impossibilities, to the huge voting blocks that came in 100% for Biden, and likely much more. And there's a lot for the Trump campaign to bring to court. But their time will soon run out to convince the country that this is anything more than just sour grapes. But there's also the matter of the U.S. Senate, which hangs in the balance pending the outcome of 2 Senate races in Georgia coming up on January 5th, more than 7 weeks away. Democrats need to win both seats to get to 50-50, where Kamala Harris could break ties. But Republicans worried that losing control of the Senate on top of the House and the presidency would lead to radical action by the Democrats. Were doubtless comforted by this statement by the most conservative Democrat in the Senate, Joe Manchin of West Virginia.
I want to rest those fears for you right now, because when they talk about whether it be packing the courts or ending the filibuster, I will not vote to do that. This system, the Senate, was so unique body in the world. It was made to work together in a bipartisan way. And once you start breaking down those barriers, then you lose every reason that we are the institution that we are. I will not be the 50th Democrat voting to end that filibuster or to basically stack the court. And then all the other things you're hearing about, Brett, also is defund the police. I don't know of any of the Democrats in the caucus that are for defunding the police. And when they talk about basically Medicare for all, we can't even pay for Medicare for some.
Conservatives far and wide hope and pray that Manchin holds to that position. He's from a bright red state, but rest assured he'll come under enormous pressure from his party if there's a vote that stands at 50-49, hinging on his decision